Well, welcome everybody to this segment of Lewis at Large. Yours truly, Warner Lewis from the flight deck. And of course, that means Smart Talk Radio is absolutely in your future. And this segment, no exception at all. Got a good one. We're going to be talking about Eat Street, recipes from the tastiest, messiest, most irresistible food trucks across the country with the one and only James Cunningham, Jimmy to his buddies. It's a companion, of course, to the great TV show that's on the cooking channel called Eat Street. James has been featured on Last Comic Standing, Just for Laughs, Comedy Inc., et cetera, headlined across the Canadian comedy circuit for many years as a stand-up comedian, et cetera. So much for the introduction. James, how are you, my friend?
Well, now I'm on Lewis at Large, so I'm doing quite well, sir.
You know what else is cool? You're the only thing right now on Lewis at Large.
See, I'm telling you, priority, VIP treatment. I love it.
Well, listen, let's dive right into this. This is a wonderful, wonderful look across the country. It's a recipe book. It's also a look at one of America's most beloved phenomena, and that is the food truck. Let's do this. We had a food truck operator that did incredible cookies and desserts in New York City a couple of years ago. But let's bring our Lewis at Large listeners up to date a little bit. James, tell us about this whole phenomena that's exploding across the country.
So let's take it back to about 2007, 2008, and what happened with the downturn in the economy. This is sort of how we trace the evolution of this. A lot of high-end and highly skilled chefs sort of found themselves, out of work and going, well, what do I do? Do I open a bricks-and-mortar restaurant and spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars, or do I get a couple $1,000s together and, lease a food truck and get out there, do the food I've always wanted to do it my way? And, so what happened was you had all these what we call foodtrepreneurs, or, entrepreneurial chefs that are out there, and they opened up their own food truck. So now behind the wheel of your, food truck, you're transforming it from an old hot dog truck or an old deep fry truck to now, you've got like lobster rolls and ceviches. You've got, bulgogi beef, Hawaiian hot dogs coming out of. It's just the gourmet food that's now been coming out of food truck windows. If you haven't been to a food truck lately, I highly encourage you. You got to check it out. So our show started out in about 2-3 years ago. We're now entering into season 4, and we've got 26 episodes. It's a double season coming at you on Tuesday, April 16th on the Cooking Channel. And what's fascinating to me is most of the trucks that we featured in season 4 didn't even exist in season 1 and 2. A lot of the chefs we're running into, they said, we saw the show and we loved the concept, and we started our own food truck. So if anything, it's a real testament to American ingenuity, American get up and go. A lot of these food truck owners, they are just the most passionate, crazy folks you'll ever meet, and they just love what they do. It's not an easy business, that's for sure. I've yet to meet a food truck owner that puts in less than 60 to 80 hours of work a week, but man, they love what they do, and it really just comes across. And some of the best trucks we came across, they agreed to share their recipes with us, and that's what you got in the book.
This phenomena, you've got covering trucks from Portland and San Francisco all the way down to Tampa, Boston, Hoboken, of all places, and
Hawaii, London, England. We've been far and wide, my friend.
This is and the phenomena again obviously started in the larger markets, but it's really creeping into almost all the towns, isn't it?
Everywhere. Oh yeah, and municipalities. What we're finding is that a lot of municipalities, a lot of chambers of commerce are now looking at this whole phenomenon, going, how do we blend food trucks into our local economy? Because it's such a brand spanking new thing. They're going, does this mean that the restaurants or bricks and mortars are now going to start losing business? And it's really not the case. Look at cities like Portland, Oregon, and Austin, Texas. They've really done it right. What they did was they said, okay, we've got all these applications for food trucks, so here's what we'll do. We'll issue them, but we'll say, listen, we'll create these food truck pods. So these areas of the city where they're underserved by restaurants. Maybe they're a little more economically challenged. What we'll do is we'll take these empty lots that are just sitting there, and we'll turn them into food truck pods. And it's really transformed certain areas of the cities that they're in. It's just, the real estate values go up, it's pedestrian traffic's increased. The one thing that studies show is that pedestrian traffic increases when there's good food around. People will commute, people will seek out good food. And if there's one thing coming off these trucks, it's really good food. So Used properly, food trucks can be a real boost to to a city's economy. But you really got to think about it. I mean, I know in a lot of cities we come across, they're trying to fight food trucks and fight street food, and it's it's a real bad move. I mean, it's restaurants. A lot of restaurants now spin off into food trucks. A lot of chefs are now spinning their food trucks off into restaurants. So it's not an either or thing. It's just a different thing that we haven't seen before.
This is a far cry from the old sandwich truck that would pull up to the work site, open up the window and serve.
Folks come out. Yep. No, it's definitely different. Now, from what I understand, my good man, you once were a hot dog vendor. Is that true?
We used to purvey hot dogs and soft drinks in our downtown here. That is absolutely correct.
Look at that. So I mean, the roots are still the same. I mean, like the hard work that went into that, and I mean the folks that we've met over the course of shooting the show. It's just, I mean, it's a different kind of personality. I mean, a bricks and mortar, a chef is very different from a food truck chef. I mean, 9 times out of 10, the guy that pulls up in the truck and sets up the generator and puts out the sandwich board and who takes your order is the same guy that's cooking it up and serving it out the window. So
right.
They're real great, fantastic operations and just shining examples of the American entrepreneur and the American dream, if you ask me, because these trucks, I mean, they're wrapped gloriously. They're works of art, and the people that run these trucks are just so passionate about what they do, young or old. I mean, if it's desserts, if it's soups, if it's salads, if it's vegan, if it's whatever. I mean, we're just seeing it all, and it's really enlightening.
Well, back then, gourmet was Dr. Brown soda and actually having brown mustard. So it's come quite a way.
Whoa, look at you.
But, I've got another question for you, and that is the phenomena. When you talk about a food truck, you think mobile and you think moving around, but in most cases, these really aren't moving venue to venue or spot to spot. Aren't they pretty much parking and everyone kind of knows where they are?
It really depends. There's not just one way of doing it. I mean, like, you've got people that lease the basic food cart or food truck. You got people that spend literally hundreds of thousands of dollars and they buy things. Like, I mean, in New Orleans, there's this guy that we have in the book called Drago's Charbroiled Engine Company. He converted a fire truck into a food truck that pumps out beer. He redid all the plumbing. I mean, you want to see in Portland, there's a pulled pork truck called Maximus Minimus. And this is a 40-foot stainless steel rolling pig that just drives around. And then, of course, you got in Portland, you've got in Austin, you've got these food truck pods that are sort of more or less, I mean, they are mobile, but they're permanently parked. I mean, it's really, there's no rule of thumb with these guys. There's some of them are fixed, some of them are mobile, but we focus on carts and trucks and anything that's basically served or created in the street.
By the way, if you just joined us, shame on you. Yours truly, Warner Lewis, from the flight deck of Lewis at Large Radio, Smart Talk Radio, rolling along here with James Cunningham, host, of course, of the cooking channel TV show Eat Street. Also a book by the same name, just released, recipes from the tastiest, messiest, most irresistible food trucks across the country. This must be really, really tough work for you.
Oh, I am blessed. I'm not going to lie. I've got the best job. Next to you, of course. I've got the best job. I fly all over the country. I meet these great food truck owners, and when you show up with a camera crew from the cooking channel, guess what? It's all free. So I spend when I'm not at a food truck, I'm on my elliptical trainer because I go through a lot of calories, my good man.
Do they know that? I'm curious is getting a hold of these guys, because men and women, but if you have a food truck, my guess is you're tough to get a hold of at times because you're always working and you're very mobile. How much preparation in advance? Let's say you go into Milwaukee.
Yep.
How are you always able to? Do you find them on the spot from time to time, or is it all pre-set up?
Well, this is where social media is playing a huge role now in this phenomenon. I mean, if there's two things you can really attribute it to, it's the downturn in the economy. These entrepreneurial chefs coming out and this whole new fusion style of food, and then the second thing, just as big, has got to be social media, because with Twitter and Yelp and Facebook now, what's happening is that these food truck owners who are mobile, well, guess what? They can now contact their customers who have mobile phones and who have smartphones. So it's a match made in heaven, because now what's happening is, so let's say in the past, a food truck would have to rely on pedestrian traffic and folks to come and, coming to them and rely on, being stumbled upon or discovered. Well, now these food trucks are tweeting their locations in advance. So they're pulling up to locations and they're having customers already lined up waiting for them. In fact, we have a free app. With our show, we also launched a free app on iTunes. It's called the Eat Street app, which you can download for free on iTunes. And it's a GPS-enabled tool for your smartphone where you can actually find the trucks that are right in your area.
Well, we know you are a busy guy here, ready to. Where are you grabbing your next meal today?
You know what? I haven't thought. I'm in New York City today, so I'll tell you, there's lots of great options. So I don't know what to do, but I was on CBS yesterday morning show, and the Gorilla Cheese truck out of New Jersey was there, and I'll tell you,
Nice.
I had their triple brie cream. Oh, my friend.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, let's see. Before you go, let's make again the guy we're talking to, luckiest guy in America, absolutely, James Cunningham. He's a comedian, but most importantly for this interview and the purposes of this, he's on the cooking channel. The show is Eat Street, and the book is Eat Street, recipes from the tastiest, messiest, most irresistible food trucks in America. And James, we think we know, but tell us how to get a copy and find out more about the show.
Oh, anywhere they sell books, you can get a copy. We're going to be on the Cooking Channel. We're launching our double season on Tuesday, April 16th at 8 o'clock. Check them out, back-to-back episodes coming at you, 114 new food trucks. And you can reach us at the Cooking Channel. Just Google Eat Street or Cooking Channel. You can find us that way. And don't forget to download our free iTunes app.
Hey, listen, thanks so much, and, take some napkins with you.
I shall. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
You bet. We'll be back with more right after this on Lewis at Large.